Tonight, the National Security Minister speaks on whether an investigation will be held into the circumstances involving a reporter ingesting a toxic chemical while in police custody. One senator considers it a step in the right direction towards true democracy, with news concerning one man who will sue the government.
If persons believe that they need to express or challenge a position and the court needs to weigh in, then that also should be healthy for our democracy.
And the Castries Mayor, Peterson Francis, is firing back at Dr. Ernest Hilaire and a councillor of the CCC. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovely and Amy Joseph.
Good evening. It is Thursday, the 28th of March, 2019. Welcome to the Hot 7 Nightly News. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. The National Security Minister speaks to whether there will be an investigation into a reporter's ingestion of a toxic substance while in police custody on the 1st of March. The story first made headlines on the 4th of March, and since then little information has been given regarding the case from any official until now. Tresha Lionel posed questions to the Minister for National Security on the matter early Thursday morning, and she begins our news coverage tonight.
Brianne Isidore was released from hospital a little over 2 weeks ago and on March 20th was arrested and charged for the offences of bomb hoaxes and attempted suicide. He is currently on bail but has not made any official public appearance and has not spoken on record with members of the media. However, one question has been answered somewhat by the Minister of National Security on whether an investigation into the circumstances surrounding Isidore's ingestion of a toxic substance while in police custody will be conducted. The question, when first posed, seemed odd to Minister Herman Gill Francis.
That question is strange. How a reporter in police custody...
Anybody in police custody?
Ended at the hospital. I think that's the question you want to ask me. And
will there be an investigation into how that happened?
I think the reporter is out, that you can ask him how he got there.
The European Convention on Human Rights, Article 2, creates a positive duty that when the state takes away the liberty of an individual and places him or her in custody, it assumes responsibility for protecting that person's human rights, the most fundamental of which is the right to life. For this reason, in many democratic countries, any person encountering harm, whether self-inflicted or otherwise, while in police custody, is a matter of concern which is normally investigated. Hot 7 News attempted once again to get an answer from the minister. So can I go back to my first question? Will there and has there been an investigation into that reporter being harmed while in police custody?
There is always a report. As a matter of fact, you know for a fact that the reporter has been charged. So there is an ongoing investigation and he was charged. So you can see from what he was charged that I don't think there's any fault on the behalf of the police. You know what attempted? Yeah, you know what attempted suicide is?
Well, personally, but yeah.
Right, somebody who tries to kill himself.
But any harm, even though it's self-inflicted or not, while you're under the protection of police, should be investigated into how that came about.
Yeah, it is. It has been investigated.
And what has come out of that investigation?
But I've just told you he has been charged for assault for attempted suicide.
But there's also questions as to how he got the substance.
Again,
are you saying that the police is blameless in him finding that substance while under their protection? That's what I'm asking.
This is a situation. This is a situation where we have to. The individual is out. He's one of your colleagues. You can speak to him, and he will give you the circumstances. If the circumstances that he relates to you indicates that maybe the police or some other person is liable, then we have to investigate that other thing. But he will have his day in court, and that will be maybe his defense. I don't know. I can't comment on that.
I don't know whether you're not understanding me.
No, I think you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Shakadan Daniel not only encountered harm while in police custody, but was found dead while locked up at the Miko police station in 2013. 1 year later, in 2014, Shakadan's father, Harlan Inglis, filed a wrongful death suit against the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, and on July 24, 2015, an inquest into the death of Shakadan Daniel declared that the 22-year-old was indeed killed unlawfully. The father, who sought justice for his son's killing for years, died just last month, having never seen those responsible brought to justice.
I'm very disappointed in that. As a matter of fact, Harlem was a personal friend. We grew up in the CDC together, and I really wanted this, at least for him to have gotten some sort of closure. But I know the DPP is working very, very hard on this matter, and he has promised me that action is going to be taken.
There have been no charges laid against the police officers present at the Miko police station at the time of Daniel's death, and they remain on active duty. I am Tresha Lionel for Hot 7 News.
Senator Herman Gill Francis also spoke to the possible removal of the Leahy Amendment on St. Lucia, which has disallowed any U.S. assistance to be given to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. We'll have more on that in just a moment, but first, one day after a Hot 7 News exclusive interview with a man who intends to sue the government, an opposition senator shares his views on the matter. Joachim Henry is reveling in the new wave of democratic awareness being practiced by citizens of St. Lucia. Henry is expressing his feelings 24 hours after a grieving son revealed that he is suing the state for the death of his father, which occurred during a strike by officers of the St. Lucia Fire Service. Rochelle Gonzalez has more.
One day after Brandon Barthelemy spoke exclusively to Hot 7 News and made a bold revelation about his intentions to sue the government of St. Lucia, one opposition senator is calling the move a step in the right direction for the St. Lucian citizenry. Barthelemy said when his father collapsed last week Thursday, numerous calls were made to emergency personnel. However, due to an ongoing strike within the St. Lucia Fire Services, help did not arrive on time and his father, Brandon St. Clair, died where he lay. Vowing to seek justice, the bereaved son has vowed to sue the state for the death of his father.
The incident happened in the vicinity of Rodney Bay, adjacent to Tappers on the Bay. Okay, after my father had lunch, he fell and he was kind of gasping for air and everything, not breathing as normal. And passerby, because my father is a very popular person in the vicinity of Rodney Bay. He lives in Rodney Bay, as a matter of fact. And ironically, one of my cousins was passing and he saw my end up seeing all the old commotion about people making calls, and the fire service said that they're not coming, and he himself called the fire service and they said that as a result of the strike action taken by them, they're not going to be coming. Okay, so I just would like to make the public know, what went on.
In response to this course of action, Senator Joachim Henry said whilst he is surprised, he is happy to see that the masses are finally finding their voices.
People are becoming a lot more open and are prepared to take on the state, are prepared to argue. During this week, I saw a very sensitive but welcome debate at the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College where persons are discussing atheism. So if our society is really opening up, I think it's for the better. I think it's very hopeful for the future. If persons believe that they need to express or challenge a position and the court need to weigh in, then that also should be healthy for our democracy as we move forward as a country.
In the case of Barthelemy, he said someone needs to be held accountable. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
And now, as promised, Minister Herman Gill Francis speaks to the possible assistance by one state within the U.S. Long thought to have been impossible because of the suspension of U.S. aid to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, a new idea is in the works to circumvent the Leahy Amendment. The Leahy Amendment bans assistance to any unit of the security forces of a foreign country if the Secretary of State has credible information that such a unit has committed a gross violation of human rights. The U.S. estimated that the 12 extrajudicial killings in St. Lucia between 2011 and 2012 were cases of gross human rights violations.
There can be an arrangement made with the Florida police, and that's what we're trying to explore. There are instances or areas where they can assist us, and we're going to try and see how we can explore that to the benefit of the police force. Every time I go out and I meet the Americans, I would say what St. Lucia's position is, and I even tell them that, as a matter of fact, by having their own ambassadors and visitors come here, they're putting them at risk because our officers are not as trained as they should be before. I mean, I'm the last, I think, Mr. Frages was the last person who did the FBI course. And it's really unfair for our officers to go through this sort of lack of training. And it's important, especially for the management of the police force, that they do these senior courses like the FBI. So yes, but I think there is a silver lining on the horizon and things are going to work out.
The Leahy Amendment does not define a gross violation of human rights, and incidents are reviewed on a case-by-case basis. The Castries City Council is the recipient of a gift from corporate St. Lucia in a bid to help tackle crime in the capital city. Thanks to the Cherokee and Sons group of companies, the CCC's City Police now have a brand new vehicle, a much-needed aid to patrol the inner and outer parts of Castries.
The City Police of the Castries City Council have been gifted with a brand new opportunity to boost their already highly rated services in the form of a new vehicle on Wednesday. The gift was presented by corporate donor Maha Cherokee and the Cherokee and Sons group of companies during an official handing over ceremony at Constitution Park. A grateful Castries Mayor Peterson Francis said he hopes other corporate entities would follow suit.
Special thanks to you, Mr. Maya Cherokee. It is indeed a special occasion and brings light to great partnership, corporate responsibility, and the energy to achieve more. This donation, more than corporate responsibility, shows solidarity and commitment not solely to my office or the City Police Department, but to government's crime-fighting efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, public security remains very important, and as evidence, we can take notice from the utterances and statements of expression by members of the public, their cry and the call to arrest the problem. This we cannot ignore. This ceremony today spotlights our pledge and guarantee to address the situation. Very soon, to complement this vehicle, we will be launching our emergency hotline service. So therefore, we are working in the public's interest. We do hope that this vehicle can support our city police in a modest way to fight against misconduct.
Zai Mohammed, who spoke on behalf of the Cherokees, said over the 37 years that the family has been operational in St. Lucia, humility, as well as tireless generosity and support to numerous charities and communities in St. Lucia has been a constant.
Castries is our capital, and the Castries City Council has a tremendous mandate to keep the capital clean, well-maintained, and safe. But to effectively carry out the tasks and services required to do so entails substantial financial resources, qualified staff, tools, and equipment. And we all know the juggling act which takes place each year when the government allocates budgets to the various towns and city councils. Most times, the allocations are insufficient to do all the necessaries for the successful operations of these municipal authorities. And so, the Cherokee group of companies, headed by Mr. Mahir Cherokee, have come on board to assist the Castries City Council with its operations through the donation of a brand new Nissan Patrol pickup valued at approximately $120,000 EC dollars.
National Security Minister Herman Francis lauded the work of the City Police since their inception. He expressed hopes that the gift will be treated with due care.
I hope that the officers will take very good care of that vehicle. It will now allow you to be mobile. You will be able to cover more ground more quickly, and we expect you to be a little more efficient and effective. I want to thank Mr. Meyer and his beautiful wife for this gift. And so on behalf of the Prime Minister, the Cabinet of Ministers, the members of the opposition, the people of St. Lucia, most importantly, we want to say to you a hearty thank you for this donation of this wonderful vehicle. Persons may say, listening to Ms. Mohammed, that you have the resources, so you didn't have to dig too deep in the pocket to bring this up. But $120,000 is a lot of money. And so I want to thank you very much, Mr. Cherokee, and I promise you that, and the mayor has told me that make sure that his officers will take good care of the vehicle.
The vehicle was blessed by Father Cecil Goodman. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Thank you, Rochelle. When we come back, Prime Minister Alan Chastanet says it's time to speak about difficult subjects, and Castries Mayor Peterson Francis calls out MP for Castries South, Dr. Ernest Hilaire.